These are Marc's girls. This is Ava. Ava's 14 now. And this is Mark Kelly, named after her daddy. She's 12. He drove trucks for a living, and he would take photos and he would send them back. I really miss my baby. I wish I'd have been there. I'd have taken every angry bullet he put in my child. I would have taken it.
On June 2nd, 2017, Catherine Davis's son Marc had a car accident in the small town of Petal, Mississippi. A police officer was sent to the scene. What happened next is disputed and wasn't caught on camera, but there was an altercation which ended with the officer shooting and killing Davis. He was 35. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation decided that the shooting was justified.
I have no confidence in the system. Absolutely no confidence.
Reading about more recent police shootings, for example, Breonna Taylor, after what happened to Marc, what was that like for you?
Knowing that something similar to that happened to my husband, I cannot watch anything like that.
It just awakened all those feelings again. When I was speaking with the coroner trying to identify my child, he said to me, "Wow, he's a big one." And I'm saying to myself, he's not an animal, he's not a deer. Is it hunting season on unarmed Black men?
Has the hashtag Justice for Marc Davis caught on more recently?
It has caught on more recently. In the beginning, it did not catch as much at all, not at all. Since the death of George Floyd, I just hate that someone had to die to bring attention to it.
Police killings make news in big cities like Minneapolis, but they happen more often in small communities with fewer than 50 police officers. Since 2015, 23 Black people have been shot and killed by the police in Mississippi. 9 of them happened in towns of fewer than 20,000. These towns tend to be places without body cams, investigative news outlets, or Black Lives Matter chapters. Petal, where Davis died, is 85% white, more than Mississippi overall. But lately, national protests are sparking local movements, and activists are asking authorities to reopen old cases.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so very much for allowing us to be here today. God, we are hurting and we are mad, and we are here today to say, I still believe that Black Lives Matter.
Over the past month, local activist Imani Stephen helped organize some of the largest protests since the civil rights era in Forest County. She's asking for justice for Marc Davis, as well as other Mississippians shot by police.
Why do you think those cases didn't get as much attention until now?
There's just a certain way that Black Mississippians are raised. We're raised to just handle our business the way that we know how, which is to keep it contained.
Trayvon Martin. Breonna Taylor. Ahmaud Arbery. We have our own stories right here in Hattiesburg. Marc Davis was murdered right across the river in Petal.
There's a culture within policing here in Mississippi that they're not going to tell on each other, even though they may witness misconduct. And you have the people having been conditioned over many years to not report it, to not say anything, because they're afraid that the police are going to come back and cause them more damage.
Do you think the George Floyd case and the Breonna Taylor case are going to spur local change?
The very fact that these people came out today, it's hard to get these people out to things like that. We don't have these crowds regularly. We've just got to keep that momentum going.
So you think, in the future, small conservative, mostly white towns will have a different attitude on issues of race?
I can't say that for all towns, no. Because I know Black people that live in small towns, they live in abject fear. No, it's home for them. They want to stay there. They don't want to cause any trouble. They don't want to be in the spotlight, you know what I'm saying? Because they have to live there, and we have a history of the Klan coming to burn a family down.
Protesters are also up against local officials. Soon after George Floyd's death, the mayor of Petal, Hal Marks, tweeted support for the officers responsible. Locals are calling on him to resign. So far, he's refused.
No, you've already interrupted twice. Go ahead. We're not putting up with that tonight. Okay, public profanity. Yeah, good.
When you serve the public, you do not have the right to say anything that you want to say.
Yes.
That you do not have that right. As
Actually,
the mayor of this city, you do not have that right.
Actually,
you do not.
Were you surprised by the size of the protests in Petal in response to your social media comments?
I am, because I kind of feel like, all right, it's a comment. I see comments all the time I get offended by. You know what I do? I go on to the next thing and I don't worry about it. I don't go protest in front of somebody's house. I don't go try to get them fired from their job.
You kind of put yourself in the middle of this by commenting on police and being the person that hires the chief of police in this town, right?
Well, I understand. Well, you know, I'm a good foil because I'm a Southern white conservative male mayor in Mississippi. And so I must be racist and I must be some bigot, and I just make a good caricature of what they want to protest against.
There's been a lot of protests around Petal recently demanding for your resignation. Are you considering resigning?
People have a right to protest. They have freedom of speech just like I do. And they can continue to protest as long as they want, but they're not going to make me resign, so that's not going to happen.
Some people have been calling for the Marc Davis case to be reopened. Do you think that should happen?
We have nothing to hide. If they reopen it, they're going to find the same thing that was found the first time it was investigated. They're going to still find it was justified and that the facts were as already reported.
The mayor of Petal had made a comment about George Floyd. If he felt that callously about that man dying like that, then what did he feel about my child? There is a part of me that is happy that this turn of events is bringing some light to Marc's case. And I'm praying that they reopen this investigation.
Do you think in the future a case like Marc's would play out differently, both in how it's investigated and what kind of attention it gets?
When you have that type of a shooting by a police officer, that should be an immediate federal investigation into that matter. A change needs to come. I don't want my child to have died in vain.